A very warm welcome to all the participants who are joining us today for the webinar to empower the execution of 21st century skills into our school. A very warm welcome, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all of the educators, students, teachers from all around the globe. It's very nice to have you all back. Hi, Francis. Hi, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. We will be starting our session in another 2 minutes by the time more people engage with us. I would just like to inform you that by the end of the session, I will be sharing a feedback form link. And if you share your feedback with us by filling that form, you will be receiving the participation certificate for this webinar. So make sure you fill the feedback form to get your participation certificate. And of course, you can post your participation certificate on social media platforms, tagging STEMpedia, me, Sreejit sir, Pankaj sir. You can share it on LinkedIn or other social media platforms. So that feedback form link will be shared at the end of the session. So you have to be in the session till the end so that you can badge your participation certificate. Good morning. Good afternoon, Abu. I think it's a good time to start our webinar. Once again, a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us today for this most awaited webinar. I am Vivek Verma from STEMpedia, today's host for this webinar. Today's webinar is about 21st century skill education, empowering classroom with coding, AI, and robotics, on which we'll have inspirational insights for our schools, teachers, and students from the expert who have joined us today. Let's take a look at the agenda. So today's agenda is we will be having a keynote speech from Dr. Sreejit Chakrabarty, who have joined us today to share his insights on the topic of emerge tech integration in K-12 school. So we will be looking forward to that, sir. With that, you will be also getting STEMpedia's insights on AI and robotics learning ecosystem from Mr. Pankaj Verma, sir. So once again, let's get started with this webinar. So today's webinar is structured to offer you a comprehensive understanding of how these technologies can be effectively integrated into our educational system. We will also introduce an exclusive range of educational resources specifically designed to align with NEP 2020 and NFS 2023. Moving ahead to the insightful part of the webinar and introducing you to our keynote speaker. Dr. Sreejit Chakrabarty, Director of AI at GEMS Dubai American Academy and the Cluster Edu-Innovation Lead for GEMS Education, is a renowned figure in EdTech arena globally. With a background including a PhD in AI, an MBA in systems, and a bachelor's in electronics engineering, he has significantly contributed in integrating STEM, robotics, and emerging technologies into curriculums across the globe. His work recognized with prestigious awards like CIO of the Year and Education Influencer of the Year, centers on leveraging emerging technologies for educational innovation. Dr. Chakrabarty is also a keynote speaker for Forbes 30 U30, GTEx, JES, BET, and World AI, to name a few. His expertise is further highlighted through his roles in GEM's R&D Tech Wing and as the director of GEM's Center of Excellence in AI. Sir today will be giving his keynote on the title Emerge Tech Integration in a K-12 School. Sir, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Vivek, for the wonderful introduction, and a very good afternoon to all present here today. And I'm very lucky to have this opportunity today to speak to a wide diaspora of people here and educators as well on this topic, mainly because the fact that I have been lucky enough to work across multiple curriculum schools and to see the different the way these schools operate, and even in terms of emerging technologies, in terms of just nascent technologies, even adoption in schools is very different from one school to the other. So there is no one formula that will fit. So what I will try to do today is showcase what has worked for us in Dubai American Academy, which is an American and IB curriculum school, but there are certainly points that can be taken away by other curriculum schools, especially Indian curriculum schools. And I'll give some examples and tidbits and strategies that teachers and educators can apply to effectively integrate technology and emerging technologies like AI, robotics into the curriculum and also outside the curriculum. So that's my whole agenda for the day today. Let me see if I can share my screen. Is it visible, Vivek? Yes. All right. Perfect. All right. So before we jump onto this journey of what even is emerge tech, what is innovation, and how do we integrate these things in the classroom, I wanted to showcase a small video that is really impactful and it has a strong effect on me. And I like to show this to my audience every time I do this seminar because that just gives them a perspective into what is the future that we are looking at. Vivek, let me know if you're not able to hear the audio, yeah?
So let's talk about the future of us. What does that even mean? The future of us. It's a look at what comes next. It's a look at what might be. Because today, exponentially emerging technologies are transforming what's possible. They're helping us overcome, transcend even biological limitations. The very rules of what it is to be human are up for grabs. We're rewriting the software of life with biotechnology. We're turning matter into a programmable medium with nanotechnology. We're creating sentient minds with artificial intelligence that are not bound by the limitations of biology. These three overlapping revolutions, PNR, genetic nanotechnology, and robotics, together will be leveraged to lead us towards a black, impossible to fathom singularity. It's like staring into the sun, a moment of arousing symphonic climax when leverage connected together extends its biological origins and we become something more. People worry about the AIs and the that. Well, as Kurzweil says, that's going to be us. The future of us is ours to dream of.
So this is a really impactful video, and I have come across many people, many educators, some educators who love adopting new technology, some who are a bit hesitant in adopting technology, and that is completely fine. That's the world we live in, and we appreciate that. But my perspective to this particular argument is that we do not even know what we are going into, right? We are at the very nascent stages of this huge revolution. We call it the industrial revolution or the educational revolution that we're going through at the moment. And and it'll be difficult for us or even for experts to have a fair judgment across in terms of what exactly is going to look like after 10 years, right? We do not know. Nobody knows. I mean, 10 years ago, we wouldn't even imagine that today in 2024, we will have a human who will have a chip implanted on his brain by Elon Musk's company Neuralink. So that's the rate at which we are growing, and that's the rate at which technology is evolving. And I think as educators, it is imperative for us to make sure that our students, the next generation, have those skill sets that are required for these new challenges that are emerging in the workforce and also in different industries. So talking about that, let me just see if I can go to the next slide. There we go. So my role has multiple facets. So not only I am the director for artificial intelligence, but I also look after the innovation strand in our company across the group. And one thing that I've noticed in my journey in adopting or even analyzing schools, and I do an innovation audit for the schools and see where they stand and what can be the recommendations given to them, is many of the Indian and British curriculum schools that I come across, they struggle with time in their curriculum. Not many teachers can afford to do extracurricular activities inside the curricular time, or deviate from their plan and introduce some new tech tools, some project work, some external outside of the school engagement, because it takes away time from their curriculum. And in other curriculum schools, like an American curriculum school or an IB curriculum school, they have a different mode of imparting learning. So sometimes it may be easier for them. So it's all about, at the end of the day, the educator, right? So it is something that we need to realize as school leadership teams and the education team that are part of any education body, be it an American, be it an Indian, be it an IB or a British curriculum school. It all depends is if the educator in the classroom, the teacher, if he or she is comfortable introducing new technologies, if he or she is having fun doing that, not thinking that this is something extra that he or she might need to do. So when the teacher realizes that adding these kind of technologies in the classroom or giving students the access to these kind of technologies in the classroom will in fact make her or his job easier in terms of putting across the concept that she wants to teach in a more holistic manner is what is imperative for us. And I'll try to see if I can show some of the examples that has worked for us here. And today, my topic is not going to be about any one particular tool or any one particular robotics curriculum or any one particular AI lesson or any one particular school. It's about education in general and a classroom. We can take any classroom and these strategies can immediately be applied to those classrooms. Now, why do we need to be this agile, right? So the answer to this was very clear from what we experienced a few years back with COVID. We are now free. In fact, the one of the benefits of COVID was for the education community was the freedom from fear. So basically, we are not now afraid to be agile and to adapt. So when COVID happened, many schools had to pivot immediately to online learning. And it was not just online learning in the classroom, but online learning across the entire ecosystem of the education. So it was staff to staff meetings, staff to parent communication, staff to student communication, student to student communication, and the digital learning resources, the education, everything went online in a matter of flash. And some schools had to adapt, and some students were forced to adapt, and some schools were very prepared to adapt. So this was one of a good challenge that we expected, and what happened at the end of that is now we are not so scared to change. So this is a good thing that has happened. So even if we talk about, okay, maybe after 5 years, all schools in the world will be on the blockchain, well, it's okay. We are okay with that. If it has a positive impact, we might think about that. So it's the negativity around online learning, screen time and all that has reduced a bit because of the freedom from fear that we received because of COVID. Now, talking about innovation in the classroom or innovation in general, right? I wanted to always showcase this example wherein innovation is not just a single term. innovation means a lot of things. We cannot define innovation. The definition of innovation will depend on the use case, and every industry will have their own definition of what innovation is and what it means for them, right? In education, especially, innovation is very, very crucial. What happens usually in industries is, out of all the verticals, the innovation is the last vertical that gets attention and budget most of the time. But in education, what I feel is this should be the first strand that needs attention in every particular school, not because of the cool gadgets or the tools or the robots. It's because of changing the mindset of the educator. If you have to be a successful educator in today's age, you have to be an innovator. You have to think out of the box. You have to think out of the curriculum that you're bound by, right? So it's not just about curriculum, not about the grades that your students are getting. It is about the understanding of the concepts, understanding of the material that you're teaching, and giving opportunity to the students to showcase their learning, right? So in terms of what are the different types of innovation, I could primarily segregate into three types. The first type being adaptive innovation. In adaptive innovation is something that we do on a daily basis. Basically, it's improving what you already have, right? It is not something very big, not some huge change that you might need to do. Take your process, take your curriculum or content or delivery style, and improve it just one small bit, so that the next day, tomorrow, is better than yesterday, right? So you're also growing as a teacher, growing as an educator, and your content is also innovative. A good example from the industries would be the iPhone from Apple. Every year you see a new iPhone being launched, but it's a minimal incremental change that happens. It's not a very drastic new looking device every year. But still, they pour in billions and billions of dollars in research and development just for that small incremental change, because that small incremental change over a few period of years leads to a huge change of movement in the entire ecosystem. So that small incremental change, or that adaptive innovation, is extremely crucial in today's day and age, where outside world is changing at a rapid pace. So we as educators have to improve our own selves, our own learning. Even the subjects that we are teaching is changing as I speak outside. So we need to be sure that we are up to date and make sure that change comes into our practice and delivery as well. The next type of innovation is called transfer innovation, wherein we are basically being inspired by innovation that happens outside education or outside the industry that we work in, and we take some points of it and we use it in our use case. So we are basically applying other solution for our problems, right? A good example for this would be SpaceX, right? So for half a decade or more than that, half a century actually, we were flying rockets into the space and wasting the rockets, right? But SpaceX thought, why not we can land the rockets? Because in the airline industry, we are taking off in a plane and landing the plane. So we can do the same in the rocket industry as well. So that small thought process, that small innovation that happened somewhere else, maybe we can just took it and then adapted it to our own selves. And now we have reusable rockets and which has made space exploration much more cheaper and much more accessible to a huge population of people. So that's the magic of transfer innovation. Not necessarily ideas have to come from your own circle. Look outside the box, look outside the window, see what's happening outside. You might get an idea. Finally, we have transformative innovation. Transformative innovation is nothing but the moonshot thinking something out of the box, thinking something radical, disrupting the product or services, and coming up with a brand new product, concept, idea, strategy, or innovative solution. Right now, this is something which is radical. This is something which is new, never happened before, and this is that part of innovation which is a sum of all the processes that has happened before. So when you do adaptive innovation and transfer innovation for a long period of time, that gives you the leverage, that gives you the knowledge, and that gives you the risk-taking capacity to go for a transformative solution and change that we are talking about over here. So primarily, these are the three types of innovation that we see in the industries, but also we can see it in the classroom itself. And I'm not just talking about teachers, even for students, you can see students are learning in this particular way. You can see some students are incrementing their learning. Some students are applying strategies from other students or even from outside, from their parents. And some students are coming up with a brand new strategy to memorize or create a solution or solve that mathematical challenge. So that's the whole idea of innovation, wherein try to think something that might have been done before, but it doesn't apply to you directly. But take inspiration from there. There's nothing wrong in taking inspiration. This is a good example. Now, this is, if you see this picture over here, this is something that I came across in an airport. This is nothing but in a pharmacy, you can see pills that have no brand names on them, but the use case of what those pills are for. So if you have a headache, you will just go for the pill that has written, help, I have a headache. Help, I can't sleep. Help, I have an aching body. Now, this is brand marketing. This is innovation, right? If people are in a hurry, they do not want to Google about what pills they need to take for a headache or an aching body or sleep. They just go there and see the branding and they adopt that particular pill. So this is a strategy that I call it as the KISS strategy. Now, that strategy has been implemented for a very long time. It's called Keep It Simple, Stupid, where stupid is not said in a bad sense, but in a very good sense. It came from the U.S. Navy in the 1960s, wherein it was a design thinking principle, and they wanted to create something or a solution for a vehicle that can be very simply dismantled and reassembled with just a small wrench, which would be extremely helpful for them during their wars and stuff, right? So that was probably the birth of how the Jeep car came into being, which could be dismantled and put back together with very few tools required. And that was the whole idea, is to keep the entire process simple. If it's simple, you have more opportunities to innovate. You have more opportunities for it to make an impact. How does this look in the classroom, right? This looks in the classroom when we give the ownership of learning to the students. Now, this is an example that we have done ourselves, is by using a simple online tool called as Padlet. And we gave the freedom to the students to upload their learnings, their projects into the Padlet. So what we did was we created a Padlet wherein all the resources, the hardware resources, the software resources that we have at school are mentioned. And they have been mentioned by the students and the teachers together. And then we have uploaded getting started guides, if it's a hardware that needs to be built, some building instructions, some sample resources. And then what students are doing is students are learning how that hardware or software works and uploading their projects as well as exemplars for other students to learn from. And this is evolving on a daily basis. The access to this Padlet will be given to all of you at the end of the lesson today, end of the session today as well. Please have a look at how this Padlet is working right now. All right. Now, in terms of tech integration, this is a sample lesson that I wanted to show. This is a lesson in sciences about genetics and nanotechnology. Excuse me. If you see this lesson, this is not a robotics lesson, right? It's a science lesson, but students are showcasing their learning by using robotics. On the right-hand side, you can see a 3D printed model, and then a design, an execution, electronics, using any different materials that you have is something which is transformative in a classroom. So the whole idea is, it is not a robotics lesson. It's not a 3D printing lesson. It's not an electronics lesson. It's a science lesson, right? So that needs to be very clear, that the science teacher does not need to know all these tools. The students are smart enough to learn if we have given them the materials. Over here, this is a Ramadan lesson. All right, this is a high school lesson on Islamic studies here in Dubai. And you can see here, students have used robotics to showcase their learning of Ramadan. Now, this is a lesson on photosynthesis. You can see their students are showcasing their learning using robots again. Now, this is a very interesting example. This is how you can teach English using robotics and other exponential and emerging tools. So they have broken down in high school English poetry into multiple parts and created a robot to showcase the different types of strategies that that particular poem uses. It could be the characters, it could be the emotions, it could be the actions. Now, this one is a social science lesson in elementary school, wherein students are using a humanoid robot to do a debate, right? So it's not a coding, it's not a computer science lesson, it's a social studies lesson, but students are incorporating or integrating emerging tech in their teaching and in their learning. So the whole idea is here, teachers are teaching their lessons, their subjects. Students are learning that, but while they're showcasing their learning, they are using advanced technologies, right? So here, learning coding and robotics is the byproduct of the lesson. It's still a social studies lesson. Students are still learning social studies, but in doing that, as a byproduct, they're also learning or teaching themselves coding and robotics, right? So this is a strategy that can be applied in the classroom where you do not want to dedicate separate lessons for teaching and learning for coding and robotics, and it can be very well integrated in the curriculum as well. Now, this is a small video on something that we have created at our school, which is the Center of Excellence and DA. And this is something which is not a good example of what every school needs to do. But there's a lot of learning that can come out of this, which I will show you after this video.
Welcome to the future of education. Dubai American Academy's Center of Excellence. A transformation beyond walls, timetables, and predetermined paths. Where the world, with all its possibilities, is your campus. To a pioneering educational ecosystem with uniquely personalized learning pathways, leading into elite universities and high-end careers. We will enable and inspire the leaders, critical thinkers, and problem solvers of tomorrow. And it all starts today. Welcome to a world first, the next generation of global learning. Welcome to GEMS Dubai American Academy, the Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence and Robotics.
Right. So this was probably an example of
welcome to the
transformation innovation, right? So this is where we wanted to go push the boundaries of what is possible inside the classroom and create a space wherein we are, as you can see on the screen right now, we have given access to technologies such as industrial technologies like self-driving car, humanoid robots, XR, VR, AR, metaverse, brain scanning technology, and all these exponentially emerging technologies. The idea being we wanted to connect the students or the learning that is happening in the classroom to what is happening outside in the real world. So one of the strategies that helps us is industry connections, right? Now, this can be done by every school in the world, right? How can they do it? They can leverage their parent network. We have leveraged our parent body. We made connections. We saw a lot of our parents were entrepreneurs and they had their own companies, or some were working for other companies. And once the school reaches out to them, they are very happy to give back to the school. Now, how do they do that? It can be in the shape of internships. It can be in the shape of mentorship opportunities for students. It can be even coming into the classroom physically or virtually, just for a session, for a talk on some particular topic, and showcase probably a problem that they were encountering in their industries and how they managed to solve it. Right. So this entrepreneurial journey is extremely important for our students to be aware of while they're in school. So this can be done easily by any school just by reaching out to their parent body. Now, one of the technologies that we have is a self-driving car. Now, there are other models that you can even do. You can even teach the concepts of self-driving car in a classroom without having an actual self-driving car by using virtual simulators. But the whole idea of teaching about self-driving cars is this is one topic which is one very interesting, very innovative. Students love it. It's very practical, and it is something which is going to come up upon us very soon. We are going to see self-driving cars riding on our roads pretty soon. The technology is still there, so you can have discussions about the legalities of self-driving car. You can talk about the different sensors the car uses. You can talk about the different coding strategies that the car takes. So this gives a lot of opportunities to learn coding and robotics in the classroom by using this particular topic. Now, this is another product that we have, which is a brain scanning tool. Now, what this does is the students wear this device on their head, and it gives you a real-time 3D visualization of what exactly is happening inside your brain. And what we have done that using this particular tool is not only just create cause and effect relations. Our psychology students love using these particular tools, but also we can use this as a trigger for IoT. Right. So we can always train this device into thinking, into learning what we are thinking, and using those thoughts, we can send out signals to trigger maybe a light switch or a switch of the AC, for example, just by thinking and not by even saying or doing any action. So that's the next level of IoT that you can work on in your classroom right now. Finally, this is a good example of generative AI and ChatGPT that teachers have been asking all around, like, how can I use ChatGPT in the classroom? Well, this is a good example. So in my day-to-day operations in the school, what happens is teachers come up to me and say that, all right, Sreejit, I'm teaching this particular topic for this particular age group. How can I come up with ideas to even use the robotics and the tools that are available in the school? So what I do is I just copy that email and I just feed to ChatGPT. And this is not the normal ChatGPT. This is a ChatGPT that knows, that has been trained on my school. So it knows what are products that are available in my school, what are the curriculums that my school is offering. And depending on that, it will give a customized solution. So you can see over here, the email that I received, I just pasted it over here. So this is a grade 7 English class wherein they are teaching short stories. And in this particular unit, they will be covering The Welt and Wall-E, two movies, two stories. And the teacher is asking, would you be able to advise me how we can work on the facilities into a classroom lesson planning, please? Right. So I just pasted this, and this is what ChatGPT gave to me. Now, ChatGPT knows what other tools are available to me. So it gave me ideas as to what I can do with those tools and create a lesson idea. So let's say with virtual reality, I can create a virtual tour of the house in Welt. I can design a tour of the post-apocalyptic Earth from the movie Wall-E. We have 3D printers in the classroom, so students can design 3D printed versions of their own Wall-E robots, giving them an opportunity to learn 3D modeling and 3D printing while learning English. Self-driving car, we can discuss about the lazy, sedentary life of future humans from the Wall-E. That is what might happen in the future if all of our life is autonomous. We never know. So on and so forth. So ChatGPT is very good at assisting and creating strategies, but then we have to be smart enough as educators to make sure that this makes sense, right? Because ChatGPT is not accurate. Many of the times it will give you content which is not even applicable to you, or maybe completely inaccurate, right? But it's a good starting point in giving us that thought process that, oh, this is possible, this might be possible, this is a good idea. And then you can take that idea and create your own lesson plan, right? So this is a good way teachers can actually use ChatGPT to come up with lesson ideas and lesson plans. I do not want to go into detail as to how more we can use ChatGPT. We can use a different session on generative AI and ChatGPT later on. But today, I wanted to say that all my links that I shared today, including the Padlet, include the links to this entire presentation, is there on this QR code. So feel free to take a snapshot of this QR code, connect with me on my socials, feel free to send me an email. If you go to my website, which is in the center of the screen, the website is not yet ready, but there's a place for you to register for my newsletter, wherein I will send you weekly ideas as to how you can integrate technology in the classroom, and that might be very beneficial for you as well. So if you have any questions right now, I will leave the floor open to Vivek to facilitate the question answers.
Thank you so much, sir, for the insightful knowledge that you have passed to all of us. And I have seen a lot of good response in the chat box that everyone enjoyed and had a very knowledgeful session with you today. So there are few questions that I just want to ask that were asked in the chat box. That is how exactly we can empower the classroom with the latest 21st technological skills like coding, AI, and robotics.
Yeah, so there are multiple ways that this can be achieved. One is from the classroom level. But what I have seen very effective is when during lesson planning, when the teachers are sitting with the head of the department, if all the teachers of that particular grade are planning the lesson at the same time, it's very important to look at what the resources are available to this classroom and timetabling it according to the lesson. That will solve the problem. And the second strategy we usually use is giving students access and knowledge about the tools and technologies online or hardware before even the session starts, right? So they are aware of the tools that are available to them. Once the session starts or once that particular lesson is going on, it's a great idea to give the students the freedom to select the tools that they want to. Right, what we have usually seen is what I have seen sometimes is when I go to a classroom, all the students are working with some particular robots, right? Why? Because that is a robotics lesson wherein they're teaching or learning using that particular robot, which is good. But then when a teacher is trying to use that particular robot or strategy into teaching her own subject, it's always better to give the students the freedom to choose what method of delivery they want to showcase their learning. That could be a physical robot, that could be a virtual robot, that could be maybe they want to use the green screen studio to create a small animated video. They can do interviews, they can do podcasts. There are so many opportunities available for students to showcase their learning, and each of these will make sure that they are learning some skill sets that are required for the workforce.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question that I also have, that is when we are teaching these latest technology in our classroom, how exactly you think we should manage and maintain the discipline and decorum of the classroom while implementing these technologies by online games or online activities?
Um, yeah, I mean, interest, decorum, and all these things will come when they're interested in what is going on, right? When students are interested, they are having fun, they're engrossed in the content, you will see that they're actually contributing to the lesson. And one strategy that we adopted in doing that is gamification. If you gamify that particular lesson, the content delivery, or that particular topic, we have seen that students work brilliantly. If you give them the opportunity to even work in pairs or teams, they will collaboratively work together to come up with the solution or the problem statement that they're working on. So there are many tools available online that can gamify very simple lessons to very complex lesson as well. Even ChatGPT can gamify a lesson for you. So I think that is a good strategy that a school or a classroom teacher could adopt to make sure that there is discipline, there is interest in that particular lesson, and at the end of the day, students are also enjoying while learning.
Thank you, sir. So, next question states, how can school ensure inclusivity and accessibility in implementing coding, AI, and robotics education in classroom?
Yes, so that's where the idea of giving the students the freedom to actually decide for themselves. Sometimes it's a very good idea for us giving the students the ownership of how they want to learn or how they want to showcase their learning. So individualized learning or personalized learning, it's a very crucial thing that is very needed in this day and age, especially because students today have are bombarded with information from all different aspects, right? They have information coming from the teacher, they have information coming from the parents in the house, they have 10 times more information that they are access to on the devices. So when you have access to so much information, you have to channelize that information and make it productive in one way or shape or form. And that looks different for every student. So using one particular solution or one particular strategy for all the students will not be a good solution, because every student is different. Exactly like how every school is different from each other. Something that works for one school will not for the other. So individualized, personalized approach is very much required. And deviation to the regular journey of a student is also very required. So when I say deviation, some students are good learners by doing activities. Some are good learners while they're watching videos. Some are good learners when they're reading. So taking into aspect of all these things about the students and personalizing the content delivery as well as the assessment and the rubrics around those things will make it will just put the student in a comfort zone wherein they can actually express the learning and showcase their learning and also absorb the content in a much more better fashion.
Perfectly aligning with your words, sir. Last but not the least, the question states, can these tools be implemented to the lower level classes? If yes, please suggest few examples.
Absolutely. In fact, most of the tools are utilized in the lower level elementary classes across all our schools. And primarily, the reason for that is the adoption of these kind of information, the strategies, the programming knowledge. I'm not talking about coding, and I'm talking about programming, strategies, planning. All these things come very naturally to the kids at that particular age group, and they retain and use that information to showcase their learning in a very innovative manner in that particular phase. So all the strategies that I mentioned today can be applied to the elementary and should be applied to the elementary and lower grade students, primarily because one, you have the freedom, right? You are not burdened with some of the curricular burden that comes up later down in a student's career. And you give them the freedom and opportunity to explore the world outside even the classroom, right? See what's happening outside the school, explore nature, explore space, explore content which is coming from the screen, explore content from the book, showcase your learning using tactile methods. Not only you need to write down the answer, maybe you can enact a play or something like that. Give them the opportunity to showcase or even just have them the freedom to give them constraints and boundaries, and give them the freedom to do whatever they want within those boundaries. You will see that they come up with ideas that sometimes we even cannot think of, right? So giving them that freedom to explore and express themselves is very important.
Thank you so much, Sreejit sir. Actually, whatever you have mentioned in this particular webinar on the topic of emerging the latest technology and how we can implement in K to 12 school, I have also jotted down some of the points that I will be passing on to whoever I meet, because the KISS method and everything that you have delivered over here, like type of innovation and how exactly we can implement these technologies into a classroom in a very fruitful manner, is actually it was very helpful to all of us, and I think everyone else in the chat box as well is very appreciating what you have just mentioned, and is very aligning and empowered to use these technologies to in their particular classroom. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Vivek.
Yeah. So I hope everyone was very excited for this webinar and is till now. So in the next part, I will just request you to please follow us on our social media platform. And if you remember, I mentioned in the at the starting of this webinar that we will be sharing the feedback form link at the end. You can fill that form and you can badge your certificate, the participation certificate for this webinar. And you can share that certificate, you can post that certificate on social media platforms. tagging STEMpedia. Thank you so much. So now moving ahead, I would like to call upon the stage Mr. Pankaj Verma, the Chief Technical Officer of STEMpedia, to tell us more about how STEMpedia and what role STEMpedia is playing in providing these tools, these technological tools, and how to develop an AI and robotics learning ecosystem in the school. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vivek, and thank you, Sreejit, for the wonderful presentation and delivering the insight that you have been implementing in your academy, and that is very, like I would say, very impressive as well. Thank you for the whole insight provided by you. Uh, Now, I will just first share the slides. Uh, I hope you are able to see my screen slides. Okay. As you have seen in this the first half of the webinar, uh, there are a lot of techniques that are available and have been practiced by a lot of schools and a lot of educators as well. The job that we are doing at STEMpedia is basically to how we can basically combine all those technologies and the methodologies in terms of deliver and give it to the school so that they can deliver the concepts of coding and robotics in a very easy manner. And that is what we have been doing for the last 2 3 years. We have been working with a very big number of schools in India and in the Middle East as well. So in the last few years, we have our platform to blogs. We have been delivering a lot of our AI and robotics kit to the schools. We have set up more than 250 labs in private schools and a lot of labs in the government schools as well. We have impacted more than 2,500 schools, and we have a lot of partners who are enabling us to make this impact more bigger as well. So this is the impact that we have been doing. But the core, I would say, the idea or the agenda that we want to have is how we can basically get the AI robotics and coding part into the school curriculum. Because if as Srijit sir has like said in his presentation, the biggest difficulty that the school have in implementing these technologies is finding the right time add it into the curriculum, finding the right time to execute this curriculum. Because if this curriculum is implemented, then there is a compromise on the other parts or other curriculums as well. So that was the problem statement that we took, and what we have done is we have created this whole ecosystem where what we are doing is we are upgrading the existing computer labs. So what we are doing is all the schools are already running the computer lab, and inside that computer lab they are doing this computer technology or things related to technologies as well, like ICT. I would say paint, making the student use Paint, internet browsing, Microsoft Word, all these technologies or all these, I would say, tools you are already using. But how we can implement or how we can upgrade the whole computer lab into an AI robotics lab is something which we were doing for the last 2 years. And now what we have done is we have created the whole framework and the ecosystem where what we have is the six component of the AI lab, where first thing is the AI and robotics tools or the hardware that would be required for experimentation and for making the real life projects. So those are the things that we provide inside the schools. I will give a detailed insight of all those things later on as well. The second part is the a software which is like coding and AI software tools, and the which would be required for the schools to implement the coding at an early stage in class 1 and 2, and in the elder stage as well, where the students can use Python inside the same platform. So that's the second pillar of the ecosystem that we have. The third part is how we can solve the problem of giving the school a structured curriculum and resources. So this is something which we have been working very hard. What we have done is we have created a series of curriculums for CBSE, ICSE schools, which can be taken into this computer curriculum and can be implemented with the computer subject as well. The fourth part is the teacher development program, where uh, it's very important that we are able to train our teachers, the existing teachers, to teach these skills very easily. So what we do is we do physical offline training with the teachers and year-long hand-holding. Because of which what happens is the teachers who are already teaching the basic ICT tools, they are able to upgrade themselves to teach the coding and robotics program into the school. So I would say very important aspect of this whole ecosystem, because if the teachers are not confident to teach these subjects into the schools, it would be very difficult for us to implement this uh, uh, to a vast variety of schools. And the fifth one is the international competitions. This is a thing where the result of all the year-long work comes to the place. Where what happens is after implementing the whole curriculum for the 7 to 8 months in the schools, we make the students to compete in international competition, which we host, whatever, where the students can showcase their learnings, their showcase their what projects, showcase their ideas, and it's a very big platform that we provide to the students, where they are able to go compete at international level as well. So this is the six pillars that we have in the whole AI and robotics ecosystem, which comes as a package to the schools, and we provide all the resources to the schools, and do the hand holding for the year long as well. So just I will be just quickly going through some of the components of it. And before that, I would just like to show this video. Most of you must have seen this video, but I would just show this for the new teachers and the new principals who would be joining for this session. Vivek, if you confirm, you can confirm.
It's not audible.
Oh, I will just reshare the screen.
Has immersed into every aspect of our lives. This makes coding, AI, and robotics necessary 21st century skill set for kids. Schools must act as change makers to mold these young innovators into future leaders. Introducing the Artificial Intelligence and Robotics Lab, developed by IIT alumni, a one-stop destination for all your needs to impart the best coding, AI, and robotics education. We set up all new AI and robotics lab or upgrade your existing computer lab to incorporate coding, AI, and robotics as part of the curriculum for classes 3 to 12, aligned with national education policy and following various education boards with books, and an all-inclusive learning management system to monitor students' progress. Our coding and AI platform, PictoBlocks, works on block-based and Python coding to empower students to program robots and AI projects with machine learning and AR/VR environment. Quirky robots and DIY kits encourage kids to think creatively and make real-life application-based projects. To make the students' learning journey successful, we upskill educators through on-site teacher development program and year-long hand-holding for efficient operations. Our lab provides endless opportunities on cutting-edge technologies like self-driving cars, home and industry automation, face detection, and many cool concepts.
My project is about saving the environment.
I have fever. Please take one tablet after meal, once in the morning and once in the evening.
New education policy stresses upon the importance of learning coding and other technologies. I think that is very much needed to shape the future.
We are empowering hundreds of schools across the globe. As rightly said by Maria Montessori, free the child's potential, and you will transform him into the world. Today,
So I hope all of you would have got a glimpse of what the AI and Robotics Lab by STEMpedia means and what are the different components of it. So I would just go through it one by one and then introduce the series of curriculum that we have launched this year for the CBSE and ICSE schools as well. So first one is the educational kits, as I was sharing. So what we have done is we have created a DIY kit. A series of DIY kit which allows the students to make projects, make the learning happen into the classroom, and then like learn the concepts of coding, AI, and integrate it with robotics. So these educational kits are very easy for the students to understand and to implement as well with the projects and the learnings that they want to have. The second component of the AI lab is the PictoBlock. So PictoBlocks is the coding platform that is developed by STEMpedia. And during the last 3 years, this platform has evolved in a very significant manner. So initially, it was started with a block-based coding with AI based I would say extensions added into it so that the students are able to create projects like face detection, do machine learning projects, or even do projects in terms of NLP or even the physics simulations as well. Then what we have done is we have added the Python coding inside the same platform as well. This allowed the students to gradually go from the block coding to Python coding into this inside the same platform. Which becomes a very seamless transition for the students, and the students are able to do much more when they are doing in the Python coding in the later stages as the new things that we have added into the PictoBlocks are the machine learning environment, where the students are able to create their own machine learning projects, like creating a animal classifier or even a mass detector. So projects like these are something which the students can now make very easily and easily as well. And then a fairly new thing that we are launching in the coming time is the XR environment. So this is environment where the students can basically create a 3D like 3D full 3D environment with lights, camera, objects, environment. All those things can be added, and then it can be like the students can code the simulations into it. They can so it's like creating their own Minecraft games, creating their own 3D games that they wanted to create, but with a touch of AR and VR as well. So the students can add AR filters, they can create AR trackers, so the game becomes more interactive, more I would say more interactive and more I would say uh, like interaction with the real world as well. So this is a thing that we have created with PictoBlocks where the students are able to do. So it's kind of a platform where the students are able to create whatever they want, and we are providing them with the resources that they would require at the early stage of learning to the advanced stage of learning as well. The other thing for this year, the new things that we have brought to our offering has been the introduction of the books. So till the last year, we were not delivering the books to the schools. We were doing purely with the LMS-based system. But this year, we are introducing books, and the major idea or the I would say motivation that has come for the books has been that in the years of the learning that we have seen, the students are the primary source of learning has been books for the students. So inside the schools are implementing the curriculums based on what all topics are there in the books, or they act as a framework for the whole academic year. So what we have seen is that when the schools are implementing the program of coding and robotics as a alone program, then they were finding difficult to maintain their like timing for the computer lab and for the coding and robotics lab. So what happened is there was a lot of tussle that the teachers has to like follow, and they have to prioritize the computer subject as well, and then there is a coding and robotics subject as well. So what we have done is we have combined both the computer and the coding and robotics subject into one, and we have created the series of books for the schools, where now inside the same book you can basically learn about ICT tools, you can learn about coding, you can learn about AI, you can learn about robotics. So all those things are immersed inside the same book. And then you have a very systematic manner of learning with theoretical or the conceptual learning as well, and also the lab activities as well. So this is the main idea that we have taken with the books. And this year we have introduced 5 series of books for this for our curriculum which supports the AI and robotics lab. So for CBSE, the first one is the Skillful Mind, which is basically covering the ICT, computer, coding, AI, and robotics for grade 1 to 8. And for 9th and 10th, we have a specific book for AI skill subject code for AI, which is for grade 9 to 11. So these are the 2 book series that we have for CBSE. So we are covering from class 1 to class 10th, and we have a specific resources created for the students, which can be followed as well. For ICSE, we have our book series called Tech Tinkerer. So this also covers the coding, AI, robotics, computers, ICT, and robotics as well. Here, what happens is, since the ICT component of the ICSE is very different, so what we have done is we have taken the ICSE, whatever is the ICT component that ICSE was following for class 1 to 8, and we have integrated our coding and robotics inside the same curriculum. So now with the same like within the same computer lab, the students can learn about the ICT, and also about the AI and robotics tools as well. So this is from class 1 to 8. And then we also have for class 9, 10th, the skill subject robotics and AI books. So this is a specific course that this ICSE has started last year with the subject code 66. So our book support the robotics and AI skill subject as well for class 9, 10. So these are for the ICSE program which we are covering from class 1 to 10th. And then there is a general program that we have, which is for class 1 to 10th, which is very specific to coding and robotics. So there are a lot of schools which want to run this program independent of the computer subject. So we appreciate that as well. So for them, we have just the coding and robotics program, which will be running from class 1 to 10th, and we are providing the books for this year as well. So, as a teacher, you would also get the learning resources associated with the teaching of the subject. So you will get the lesson plans for the books. You will be getting the lecture slides. You will be getting the worksheets, activity sheets, all the things that would be required for you to implement the book. And this, the very important part would be you would be also getting offline training when you are taking this AI lab inside the schools. You would be also getting trained on how to implement coding and robotics inside the school as well. So that's a whole offering that we are providing to the schools as well. So I think this is a uh, uh, these are the things that we have created for the CBSE school. So we have the AI and robotics lab. We have the Skillful Mind program for grade 1 and 8. And then we have for 9th and 10th, we have the AI program uh, uh, books as well. So this is the whole offering that we are giving for the CBSE schools, and which can be implemented with the upgradation of the computer lab. I have already covered this thing. I would just skip with because we have a very less time for this webinar. So yeah. So this is the IC for the ICSE school. So we have the AI and robotics lab that we have for the ICSE schools. We have the Tech Tinkerer books for 1 to 8, and then for 9th and 10th we have the robotics and AI program, which is strictly aligned with the subject code 66 kept by ICSE program. This is a program which upgrades the existing computer lab to the AI and robotics AI coding AI robotics program inside the school. Upgradation of computer lab. And then if the school wants that, okay, they don't want to take any of the to have any hindrance in their existing computer lab. So we have a specific AI lab and then a specialized program for 1 in 10, which would require only one class per week as an intervention, and then you can run the program as well. So these are the different programs that we have created for the schools in order to implement coding and robotics uh, for inside the schools. Yes. So as a part of the curriculum implementation or the implementation of coding and robotics, what we have seen in the previous year is when you are implementing this program, this is not a program that implement just the technical skills into the students. It's a holistic program which also offers interdisciplinary approach where you are able to integrate the computers or the and robotics technology with the science subjects, with the maths and the social science subjects, as you have seen in the first presentation as well. So what happens is when the students implement this whole program or projects in the school, what happens is they also get to understand these skills as a byproduct of the implementation of the program as well. So they learn about ideation and creation, so how they can create they can ideate on ideas, how they can solve problems as well. They learn about 21st century skills, which is very important for the students. They have to, so now in the coming world, we have realized that AI is going to be a very big player in terms of economic value generation. So we have to teach these things to the students, how they can basically learn the new age technology, the 21st century skills in order to progress in their career as well. This program also integrates this STEAM education, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So it's an integration of all the different subjects added into it, so that the students can solve the problems, the real life problems very easily. The students also learn about innovation and entrepreneurship, the competition that we do which is done by us Codever. Every year we see like more than 1 lakh students participating in it and doing creating their own projects. So this is something which allows the students to innovate and have their build their entrepreneurial skills as well. And the very important part is empathy and life skills. So empathy is something which every creator should have. So if I don't have empathy for the solution or for the people who are going to be impacted by the solution, then the product won't work. So when the students are solving the problems or are going through a design process, a design thinking based process, they develop the empathy and a very important necessary life skills as well. So these are the different learning outcomes that we have, or the key outcomes that we have seen from our program, which go beyond the technology education and like make the holistic learning for the students as well. So just to give you a small overview or like result of these programs inside the school is so when the tradition meet the technology. So this is a project created by the school Little Scholars. They have implemented our AI and robotics program, and in on their the Shera celebration, they created this whole I would say a scenario where the robots are like telling us the stories. So I would just show this video. I think the video is not working. Uh, sorry, I have to just skip the video. But this video is available on our platform STEMpedia YouTube channel, so you can go back and see the video on the YouTube channel as well. This is a very inspiring project that we have seen, coming from the schools as well. And this is just one of the 1,000 projects that the students have shared with us. So thank you everyone. I hope I have given a lot of uh, uh, maybe not lot of, but a small overview on how you can implement the coding and robotics and what STEMpedia is doing, what STEMpedia is offering to the schools as well. Okay, thank you. Back to Vivek.
Thank you so much, Pankaj sir, for sharing insights over what STEMpedia is doing and how STEMpedia is empowering the schools and teachers to take up these skills and to pass it on to the students, to the young generation. Thank you so much for sharing that what exactly, how exactly we are implementing these skills and how exactly we want the students to take up these skills. Thank you so much. And all of the participants who have joined us today, they all were very excited and they are looking forward to reaching out to us for the lab integrations as well. By the time, I request all of the teachers to fill up the feedback form, as I mentioned in the starting, that to get your participation certificate for this particular webinar, you need to fill up the feedback form. You can scan the QR code that is there in front of your screen, or you can click on the link that is shared in the chat box. So the link is also being pinned in the chat box. You can just click on it and share your valuable feedback. And you can also reach out to us filling the feedback form. You can share your email ID, and if you are interested in getting hands-on onto these STEMpedia's products. So I'm requesting all of the teachers, principals who have joined us today to please fill out the feedback form and share your valuable feedback with us. Because sharing your feedback today will help you to get your participation certificate that you can showcase on your social media platforms. Once again, a very big thank you to Sreejit sir for joining us today and sharing insights on how exactly we can implement these skill subjects, these 21st century skills in our classroom. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Most welcome, and it was my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again to Pankaj sir for sharing how STEMpedia is working towards empowering the schools, teachers, and students to learn these 21st century skills. And thank you to all of the participants who joined us today. We hope you enjoyed the session and you learned something new. Thank you so much. We will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.